Killer copied a movie. Cop realized his evil plan was inspired by a movie.
911, what do you have to cover your emergency?
And all these videos were sent in the Discord. I liked them on YouTube, things of that nature, but all these videos were sent in the Discord. W Discord. W Muckberry. I got tacos.
No.
I got tacos.
It's so bloody.
He's all bloody?
Yeah.
Where's he bleeding from?
It looks like the back of his head. It looks like somebody's been through here.
This chilling 911 call was made by Miriam Helmick on June 10th, 2018, after she found her husband dead on the kitchen floor.
Alan was on the floor in the kitchen. It looked like he had been shot in the head, and we had a bullet casing next to his body.
When officers asked Miriam if she had any doubts about who could have done it, Miriam named her stepson.
You know, you're I like you because you're doing this.
The case took an even stranger turn.
Well, who the fuck is he talking to, nigga? You a suspect. Of course you're gonna be here. What you talking to, boy? I'll be damned if a suspect come into the room and start talking high to me. Nigga, I'll break your neck out.
When Miriam claimed to have found a note from the killer.
There's a card inside that says, Alan's first, you're next. Run, run, run.
But the most unexpected twist came when detectives realized the killer had been inspired by the plot of a movie.
The crime scene reminded investigators of a movie scene?
After a harrowing 911 call, police in Whitewater, Colorado rushed to the scene. When they arrived at the scene, they found a situation that matched the urgency of the call. 62-year-old businessman Alan Helmick had been shot and killed.
It looked like the house had been ransacked.
At that point, she sees Alan laying on the kitchen floor on his back with blood under his head.
Alan was on the floor in the kitchen. It looked like he had been shot in the head, and we had a bullet casing next to his body. They did a very quick security sweep to make sure there wasn't a suspect still on scene.
At first glance, the house...
The video louder than you? See what I'm saying? Now, what if I ended the entire stream just off that?
Looked like it had been robbed. The drawers were open and trash cans were tipped over. It appeared to be a possible robbery homicide. After a quick look at the scene, police took Alan's wife, Miriam Helmick, to the station for questioning. She had been there when they arrived.
Was anything stolen, though?
Detectives simply asked her to walk them through her day leading up to the crime.
I had some errands I need to run today, so he was we would meet later, so he got in the shower and got dressed.
Okay, what time did you leave?
Miriam gave a clear account of her day and the places she visited. She even had several voice notes to support her story.
She started listing off everywhere she had been. She told us that she was calling Alan several times, was getting his voicemail.
Hi, Alan. I just want to let you know I'm going to Walmart. If you're going to meet me for lunch.
But the voice notes weren't all. She also had receipts from the places she had visited. It seemed as if she was too prepared for everything.
I think I have all the receipts in my pocket.
The evidence she provided, along with cell phone tower data, confirmed she was telling the truth. Still, police took all necessary steps to ensure she couldn't flee if she became a suspect, but they found nothing to hold her.
They take those items to check them for any kind of gunshot residue or blood spatter that might indicate Miriam had something to do with this. And those results came back negative.
To be thorough, detectives asked Miriam if Alan had any enemies or anyone who might want to harm him. The answer came back negative.
Did he have any enemies, any problems with any of his contracting work going on, any disputes? Would he share that with you if he did?
I think so. He shared a lot with me.
After speaking with Miriam,
my question is, why is she randomly sending? Does she do that on a regular day basis, like the voicemails? I look, you check the logs. Do she regularly send this nigga voicemails? Why she randomly say, "Oh, I got a voicemail"? I send them voicemails. Do you do that all the time? And why'd you randomly bring the receipt? Trust me, niggas really don't be grabbing receipts except me. So what made you want to bring the receipts in? Plus, randomly, and if she don't usually do this on a daily basis, why today you want to pick the day to send this nigga voicemails? What you doing?
investigators returned to the crime scene and began a closer analysis. It became clear the robbery had been staged. It was carefully planned to mislead them. This led them to believe the killer likely knew Alan.
And if nothing was taken, then it wasn't a robbery. They was just in there doing shit.
They initially suspected Miriam. Her alibi checked out, and she was ruled out as a suspect. But just as the case seemed to stall, Miriam dropped a bombshell that shifted everything.
In Delta,
Uh-huh.
and somebody tried to torch our car.
So the car actually got torched in Delta?
This shocking incident took place just 6 weeks before Alan's murder.
They took a stick or a big like restaurant skewer
Mm-hmm.
and put some kind of gauze on it
Mm-hmm.
and stuck it down in the gas tank and lit it.
It became
would
clear
somebody
that
do that?
someone wanted Alan dead, and that person
Seems like Alan Capone, don't he?
had likely been watching him for a long time.
Well, Alan and Miriam had driven to Delta for the closing on their business. They were selling Alan's title company to a purchaser, and they had finished the transaction and had parked out front and collected a check for over $100,000 for the sale of this business, and got in the car. And while she's in the business, the car starts smoking.
Oh, so when he's in the car, not a car. Oh yeah, I see what's going on. Both accounts, both times this nigga had an opportunity to die. She wasn't there. She had an alibi, but for some odd reason, oh yeah, I know what it is. It was money. That's
Alan
the reason she did it. It was money.
Looked in the mirror and
She
saw
wanted all the money.
that the vehicle was on fire. He got out of the vehicle, went to the back of the car, and a wick was in the gas tank.
When Miriam comes out, she hears that Alan's screaming at her to bring her to get a fire extinguisher, that the car is on fire.
With that in mind, detectives circled back to the key question: who would want Alan dead?
Alan didn't have a lot of enemies, and so who would want to kill Alan in that kind of way by blowing up his car? That was a real mystery.
Detectives asked Miriam if she suspected anyone who might want to harm him.
You have no idea who would do this to you or Alan?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just weird. I don't know. We've been hashing it over last night.
Investigators reviewed records related to the case and came across a recording of an old interrogation with Alan. They played it, hoping to uncover something useful.
Do you know anyone that would have a problem with you?
I do not. Over the years, active as I was in business in this area, there's going to be some unhappy people because I turn people down on loans from time to time. But I think I was well respected in the savings and loan industry. There are two people that have had a problem.
Okay, who are those two people?
I can't imagine them being vindictive because they're too much exposed.
Right.
They did stupid things, but they're not stupid people.
Right.
In a desperate search for answers, detectives had even asked Alan if he believed his wife could be involved.
Oh, God. No, I don't think that.
Not at all.
That would be terrible. Now, why would you do that?
What would she gain if you died yesterday?
What he would get is a mess. She gets nothing that was created prior to the marriage.
After going through Alan's recording and finding absolutely nothing, they were left with more questions than answers. The detectives needed to learn more about who Alan was close to.
Wait, so you telling me she had nothing? You married a bum, my nigga? So you married a bum, and you had shit going for you, and she was a bum. Why do you... Alright, bro.
And when they asked Miriam, she pointed at someone they hadn't expected. His own son, Alan Jr.
Tell me more about Alan Jr.
He's had run-ins with the law.
What was the relationship between Alan and Alan Jr. 3 to 4 months ago?
Same.
Same
It's been
distance?
that way for many years.
Okay, kind of.
Very
Stay apart.
distant.
Okay.
There's some real animosity there.
Does Alan Jr. know where
W Tacos, I might fuck me a Mexican girl tomorrow.
you guys live now?
He's been there.
Alan didn't have any biological kids with Miriam. All his children were from his first marriage. What looked like a normal blended family on paper had cracks running quietly underneath.
Miriam talked about how Alan and Alan Jr. never got along, and that there was some falling out between the two of them and some animosity.
And just when the detectives were starting to let that uneasy feeling settle in, something else came to light, something that made it impossible to push aside their growing suspicions.
And after that car fire 6 weeks earlier, Alan had also mentioned his strained relationship with his son to those investigators.
It was time to bring Alan Jr. in for questioning. The detectives were hopeful that his answers could bring them the break they'd been searching for. As they sat down with him for an interview, they could never have expected the unpredictable truth he was about to reveal.
Come on in and have a seat. And
Right here?
yes, that's fine.
This nigga I've seen him before. This nigga look like Sketch from The Silhouette, don't he?
Saw something that wasn't right. He would give you his 2 cents about it, and it would not be nice. It would be sharp.
He just told it as it is.
Yeah, it's sharp. Yeah, right out.
I'm guessing that's how that girl felt when I told her she was decent. Hey, it's nothing wrong with you just telling the nigga how it is. Hey, if you wearing some whack ass shoes, you wearing some whack ass shoes. It was crazy. I actually baked the girl about her shoes. She was wearing some Uggs, but they were plastic. I was like, what the fuck are those on your feet? And she talking about, what do I got on? I told you I have on Walmart shoes. I am not ashamed of what I got on. I know these bitches were about $11. I'm not tripping about my shoes, but what are you wearing?
Sure. My dad's like, you're out, you know.
It's just a question.
You're because you're doing this. You know, Dad would give me a dime.
Did you ask?
No, I'm sure that I had back then. And then he repeated, you know, hey, this is something you need to learn to take care of yourself.
Where were you Tuesday? Because everybody's been asked that question. And
you know, I'm not an ignorant human being.
Right.
And I would be offended if you didn't ask those questions. In fact, I would be angry with you if you...
Damn, why is he aggressively cutting her off in a passive way? What's wrong with him? That don't even make sense why I said aggressively cut her off in a passive way, but he's doing it. He's not calling her names or nothing like that, but he's aggressively cutting her off.
Didn't ask them in that way. Would have been working on the computers. I would have been...
This nigga trying to show his passive intelligence. Nigga, shut up.
Despite his tough exterior,
right, passively,
Alan Jr. was
aggressively
clear
doing shit.
that he would never hurt his father. He even provided an alibi, saying he was out of state when the murder happened. With every answer, the detectives' suspicions started to fade. When the interview ended, they made their decision. For now, Alan Jr. wasn't a suspect.
No evidence linking Alan Jr. to having anything to do with Alan's murder.
With Alan Jr. ruled out, the detectives hit another dead end. Frustration began to settle in. No leads, no answers. But just when it seemed like the case was slipping through their fingers, something terrifying happened. It was a turn so unexpected, so chilling. It might just be the breakthrough they'd been desperately searching for.
She was with her friend Penny. They had just gotten back from shopping. She goes up to her front door and she sees an envelope sticking out from under the mat. And when she opens that envelope, there's a card inside that says, Alan's first, you're next. Run, run, run.
What was written inside that envelope sent a chill down their spine.
That shit was ass. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run. Y'all know that song? That shit kind of fire. I be playing music like that just in my room at night. I make sure it's about 3 a.m. when I play that shit too.
It wasn't just unsettling. It was a direct threat. It was clear the investigation had to go deeper because whatever they were up against now was far more dangerous than they'd imagined.
She collapses to the ground, becomes very distraught.
Marion calls me and she's frantic. And she goes, what should I do? And I said, well, you need to hang up the phone and call the police and get out of there. I said, because somebody could be there trying to hurt you.
The envelope was now the center of their attention. Its contents were unsettling, raising more questions than answers.
The greeting card is turned over by Miriam to her lawyer, who then notifies the police.
I was given a copy of the card. It said, to the grieving widow in block letters. On the front is a picture of a middle-aged female. And it said, insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And then inside, Alan spelled A-L-L-E-N, misspelled.
So
Your was also Y-O-U-R. A grammatical thing, okay.
Whoever left it there had cut out the barcode, seemingly in an effort to obfuscate anybody tracing that card, where it was purchased, who purchased it, that sort of thing.
It looks like Miriam might be the next target.
Maybe there is somebody out there who really wants to kill Miriam as well.
The envelope turned out to be a solid lead. The investigators hoped they could trace where the card was sold, and
that's low-key smart. Cut out the barcode. I might use that.
That meant a specific manufacturer, a city market, and maybe even security footage. For the first time in days, they had a direction, and they were about to follow it.
They got in touch with the manufacturer of the card. He was able to tell them where these cards were sold.
They checked the Hallmark. I checked the Hobby Lobby. We finally get to the city markets. I contacted their loss prevention guy. They found 2 sales. One person paid in cash, didn't know who that person was. The other one was with a credit card. So we had a name, and then he found one more purchase. He called me, and he's like, I've got video.
That store uses VHS tapes?
That particular store was not as up-to-date as their others, and they did use VHS, and they used it over and over and over again. So by the time we got this tape, it was kind of delicate.
The footage started rolling. Ordinary people going about their day, nothing unusual at first. But then, just a few minutes in, something, or rather someone, made the detectives lean in.
It was the wife, wasn't it?
A familiar face. Someone they never expected to see in this context. And in that moment, everything changed.
It was her. She was wearing the same style of shirt that she had walked in with her interview. It was just a different color combination.
When the detectives questioned her about it, she did have an explanation. One that was as vague as it was oddly hilarious. And if she expected it to clear things up, well, it did the exact opposite.
What Miriam told them is that she felt like the police weren't paying enough attention to the case. They weren't doing much. And so she wanted to kind of jog that with this card.
My nigga, what? You just incriminated my nigga, what? Are you serious? You could have just went to the police and said, come on, my nigga, do your job better. But you done went through all this. What?
But the detectives were not buying.
Stupid nigga, are you? You could have went with a new hairstyle, went to a store a little farther away and bought it, but you had to.
This reasoning, Miriam was beginning to seem more and more suspicious to them. So it was time to speak to Alan's children and learn what they could about Miriam's relationship with their father. They brought Alan's son and 2 daughters in for interviews, and the children had a lot to say.
He's been completely out of character, drastically since January. It's odd for my dad.
You've seen him change. You've seen him change his character.
And maybe not so much see him change his character, but through her, I can't even get to him.
And every time I called, Miriam answered. Before that.
His phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
His cell phone. Which I thought was weird. He always answered his phone.
All 3 gave the same report regarding the weeks and months leading up to his death. According to them, he'd stopped answering and returning calls, and the only way to get in touch with him was through Miriam.
So she was kind of controlling, like that one case where that millionaire or that nigga that was well off was being controlled by his wife over the baby mother. Y'all remember that video? I'm kind of seeing a connection. So she's trying to take control of his life and keep people out so she could plan to get this nigga smoked. Basically, that's what I'm connecting.
Hey, Miriam, this is Christy. I've been calling my dad for about a week and I'm not hearing back.
I'm like, well, Dad, is your home phone hooked up? He's like, no. I'm like, well, how does anybody get a hold of you? Well, Miriam doesn't want anybody to bother me.
It appeared as though Miriam had...
Because she was planning on getting you smoked. And she didn't want nobody to put the ear in your bug or have you plan an event that will fuck up what she had planned for you.
Been trying to distance Alan.
I was still crack.
From his kids. And she often blamed it on his health issues. But this only confused them more.
Father's never sick. My father's like an ox.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, every time I would talk to him, he was sick.
And did he say what he was sick from?
He didn't know. I don't think he had a clue.
She was slowly killing this nigga as well and realized that was taking too long. So she hopped to drastic measures.
He said he couldn't even stand up. He was so dizzy.
Could Alan's inexplicable sickness have been caused by something out of the ordinary? The detectives wished to look into this further, but this was only the beginning of the information that children would reveal about.
Hold on. This white niggas got ads and shit. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run.
I don't have a mom. My dad don't talk. You know, it's really cool.
Love
too.
one underscore Ari says
First,
Blay.
I'll tell you what you do. What, hey, man. Hey, man. What if I want to sit here and watch a little bit of corn, nigga? No, I'm trolling.
Miriam. Next, they gave the police information regarding something far more suspicious.
There was the sudden loss of her daughter, and then a shocking development with her first husband.
While Miriam and her first husband, Jack, were in bed, Jack shot himself in the head.
It seemed Alan was not the first husband of
Damn, Nicole, was that trash that you had to smoke yourself after indulging in it?
Miriam's to die from a gunshot wound to the head. At the time, Jack Giles' death was ruled as a suicide, and considering that he and Miriam had lost one of their daughters just a short while prior, it had not been questioned much. But when the detectives now looked into the past case file, a few suspicious details stood out to them.
Police.
Maybe she had got a little bit of mental damage from losing her daughter and realized she was like, fuck this, I'm not finna stay with this nigga. I already lost my daughter. I'm getting rid of him as well. And then she moved on to this family and realized, oh, this nigga's well off. Let me find a way to slowly kill him or just smoke him until he dies so I could get all his inheritance. And she's doing the gold digger method. I see what she's doing.
Ruled it a suicide. There were
But we need to get evidence that she's doing the gold digger method.
some strange circumstances, though. Things like he used his right hand to pull the trigger. Jack was a lefty.
In addition to this,
right.
The local officer who had ruled the case as suicide had been none other than Miriam's half-brother. With every new piece of information, Miriam was beginning to look guiltier by the second. But there was still more information that children had on Miriam. What they revealed next had been told to them by one of Miriam's own friends. Just a few months after Alan's death, and with suspicion mounting against her, Miriam had begun to see somebody else.
Miriam had contacted me first. She wrote, saw your profile and loved it. I can dance, any dance, and I'm pretty good at it. Your profile requirement described me complete to a T.
She says, I'm going to go down there. I said, you what? I mean, this is just months after Alan had died. Even my girls were like, gosh, she's dating already? And I said,
Damn. One dick died, so you hop to the next one? Yo, nigga just died and you already on another dick. Telling this nigga you could dance? My baby, you're 50. If you move too much, your hip might pop out of place. And you talking about I could dance any dance and I'm very good at it. Flirting with this nigga, talking about describe me to a T. My baby. Your husband just died.
yeah.
From the looks of things,
You couldn't give it a month?
Miriam had not even waited for Alan's case to be solved before she went on the hunt for her next.
These niggas still looking for the criminal, and you are already like, well, I'm gonna leave it to the police. Who wants a pussy? Nigga, what? Could you figure out who killed your husband first before you look for another man to talk to?
Rich husband. This was a stark contrast from the heartbroken wife that she'd tried to act as when the detectives first spoke to her. Now they were almost sure she was involved in some way. The only problem was, all the information was circumstantial at best. They'd no evidence to prove her involvement, but Alan's children had one last bombshell to reveal.
One of Alan's
just
children said she specifically remembered seeing a .25 caliber pistol in his sock drawer.
They couldn't find that gun after the murder.
A 20
Case solved. Simple. Simple. If it was a break-in, the killer would have came in with their own weapon. They wouldn't have been searching through it and then somehow found the shit and then popped him with it and then left with it. No. She knew where it was. In the sock drawer. I'm guessing it was buried below some socks. I also had my switch in my sock drawer, so I know.
25 caliber bullet had been
used
to kill Alan.
And it was a
But
25
with the gun
caliber?
missing, they had no way to know if it had been fired from his own weapon. However,
Now go ahead,
now
ask
they had
her.
a lead to chase. And if they could find the murder weapon and link it to Miriam, it would be the evidence they needed to close the case once and for all. While the police...
Now, I bet you the weapon that killed her ex-husband, they probably couldn't find that. And if they did, they should have checked the fingerprints. They probably did. But
now had a
she probably had gloves on because it was at night. She had some time to prepare.
Decent amount of circumstantial evidence against Miriam. They were still on the hunt for something more concrete. They were able to apply for a warrant to review her phone records and computer, and what they found would leave them...
What if she didn't kill him? Well, that nigga was left-handed, and he was somehow killed with his right hand on suicide. And I bet you if you talk to that nigga, he was not a suicidal type of nigga. Like, he's probably like a nigga like me. Well, really, it's no nigga like me, but...
I'm shaken to their core.
Niggas like me, that's not suicidal.
Approximately 180.
I thought of killing myself. Never actually done it, though, because why would I do that, nigga? Like, go get better.
Viagra overdose, Ambien overdose, lisinopril overdose, a combination of those three drugs mixed together, pain-killing overdoses.
I think she was looking at various ways to kill Alan.
The time frame of these searches was in the months leading up to his murder.
Wait a minute.
Apply for a warrant to review her phone records and computer, and what they found would leave them shaken to their core.
I recovered approximately 180 online medical searches for things such as Viagra.
180. 180. God damn. And it makes sense why she was trying to keep him from talking to his kids. Because they would have said, Father, you're not supposed to be taking that much dosage. The kids would have known. This is exactly why she, like I said, she was planning something. 180, bitch, you're not trying to become a doctor.
Overdose, Ambien overdose, lisinopril overdose, a combination of those three drugs mixed together, pain-killing overdoses.
I think she was looking at various ways to kill Alan.
The time frame of these searches was in the months leading up to his murder.
You want to smell my fart?
That Alan's children had said he'd mysteriously fallen ill and had distanced himself from them. Could his sickness have been due to Miriam's attempts to get him to overdose? Though they had no way to prove this, they now wondered if Miriam had tried to kill her husband in other ways before she had finally been successful. And that's when they realized that she could likely have been behind the failed car explosion attempt.
After all the dust had settled, our investigators started thinking about what had transpired in Delta. They thought, this sounds like the car.
Every old white nigga always wears a blue suit. I've noticed that. They always wear a blue suit for no reason.
Car explosion scene in No Country for Old Men, which had just come out in the last year, and it was a popular movie where the villain had created a distraction by lighting a magazine, sticking it into the gas inlet, and exploding the car.
The investigators were sure this was where the
Nigga
inspiration
did that in
had come
broad
from,
daylight?
considering the movie's popularity at the time.
That car low-key's fire. He doing
Alan and Miriam's
I ain't gonna lie, I low-key looked at a car that looked just like that. I might cop that shit. I might give me an old school, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. The insurance on that bitch gonna be low as hell. I'm gonna learn how to fix that car up. And then I bought the Dodge Charger I want.
Cable bill, and what they found would confirm their darkest suspicion.
As police are looking into this, they discovered that the Helmicks had rented that movie about 4 days prior to the incident.
The links were too clear to ignore. Miriam had been looking.
Damn, she just watched the movie. She already like, oh, I'm gonna try it.
For any possible way to get rid of her husband, and when they'd all failed, she had resorted to the most foolproof method she could think of, Alan's gun. But how could the investigators prove this? They had no idea where the gun could possibly be hidden,
crazy,
and no clue where to start looking for it. But then, when they were beginning to lose hope, one of Alan's children reached out and mentioned a story from 1989 involving that same gun that gave them a sliver of hope.
My grandfather went a little crazy and tried to shoot my grandmother in their front lawn one day.
According to Alan's daughter, a neighbor had intervened and her grandfather had ended up shooting downward into the lawn. The detectives now came up with a bold plan. They'd search this property to see if the bullet from this incident could be found in the ground and try to compare this to the bullet that was used to kill Alan. It was a long shot, but this was their only chance.
We went out there with metal detectors, and after some time we were able to locate the bullet.
Are you kidding? You found a bullet that had been fired in 1989? Amazing. We don't get those sorts of breaks.
Against all odds, they were.
Did this nigga get younger? Like what?
The bullet.
Are you kidding?
This nigga look 30 years younger, don't he?
You found a bullet that had been fired in 1989? Amazing. We don't get those sorts of breaks.
That shit looked like it was shot in 1989. This nigga looked like he didn't got younger, didn't he?
Against all odds, they were actually able to locate the bullet. It was immediately collected and sent to ballistics to test against the bullet used to kill Allen. But since the bullet from 1989 had been in the ground for 20 years, it had degraded quite a bit. The test results would take time, so the detectives began to look into what Miriam's possible motive could be for taking Allen's life, and they knew just where to start. When they'd searched the house after the murder, they'd found a number of checks totaling over $40,000 addressed to Miriam that had all been signed by Allen. At the time, as Miriam had been cleared due to the alibi she'd presented, they hadn't thought to look deeper into these checks. But now that she was under suspicion, they needed to make sure they were real. And when the checks were examined by forensics, something very quickly became clear.
There were suspicious bank account activity where
it was the hair. He didn't get a hair. Back then he did have a haircut. Now he keep his shit about an inch long.
It appeared that Miriam had forged.
This is after a fresh cut. You can see the lineup. You see the lineup, right?
Multiple checks from Allen's account. All told, she had taken about $40,000 out of his account through writing those checks.
Damn.
It seemed the motive had been simple after all. It had been sheer greed for money.
Told you.
Not satisfied with the life insurance payout from her first husband's death, Miriam had decided she needed more, and Allen had paid the price.
Or you can just get a job or maybe start up your own little entrepreneur business or something. I know that's her booty cheeks in the back or kneecaps in the back, but maybe you know what I'm saying, maybe you could start doing something different. Like, you know what I'm saying, maybe working a 9 to 5 is not working for you, so maybe we should go out and, I don't know, do some concierge work or something. Become an artist or something.
Even more chilling.
Become a movie director. Since you want to try out movie things, become a movie director. Do something.
Was the fact that just a few months after Allen's murder, she had found another rich man to chase after. They were now certain they were dealing with someone who could very likely be looking to kill again in the future. They needed to lock her away for good. And then the results of the ballistic testing came back.
I was able to determine that the bullet recovered from the yard corresponded with the bullet from the victim in number of land and groove
Why his lips look like
and
that,
their
bro?
widths. I was able to determine also that the fired bullet from the yard was a right-hand twist. My result was that the two bullets could have been fired by the same firearm.
This was what the detectives had needed. Even though it was not a 100% definitive match, they believed that along with all the circumstantial evidence, it would be enough to take Miriam to trial and get a guilty verdict. 6 months after the death of Allen Helmick, Miriam was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder for the car fire, and...
Imagine she thought she was good, and then 6 months later she get put in the cuffs that she was supposed to been in. 6 months later, she done definitely bounced on that rich nigga and got some money from him.
Forgery.
I know.
Soon after, in November 2009, the case went to trial. The prosecution
the mother ladies be
presented their
freaky,
timeline
y'all.
of the murder, stating that Miriam had shot her husband in the morning, then
That
changed her
menstrual cycle
clothes
don't work
and
no more.
showered to remove any
So
traces
now they
of
just
blood
doing
or
anything.
gunshot residue. She then disposed of the clothes and the gun in some unknown location, and then set off on her errands to establish her alibi before heading to the Chinese restaurant and leaving the message for Allen. She had then returned home and called 911, pretending to be a distraught wife.
White people scare me. Nah, I like my milk.
They also stated how she'd been
White
behind the
people be
failed
kinda
car
cool.
bombing attempt, citing the cable bill as circumstantial evidence.
Just
The
don't bring them
defense was
Karens to me. I'll
confident
drop
that
you.
This
I
wouldn't
have
be
no
enough,
problem swinging on
but the
people. I'll swing
prosecution
on the female
also
as
had
well.
an ace up their sleeve. The testimony.
Hey, I would not hit a woman, but I will hit a threat. Take that to heart. I will not hit a woman, but I will hit a threat. If you're a threat to me, I will hit you.
One of Miriam's friends who recalled a conversation between the two of them just days after the failed attempt.
Everyone scares me. Yeah, I know I'm quite scary. I know. I'm saying I intimidate a lot of people, especially you.
She had said that she found out that a car won't explode if it has a full tank of gas.
And when she said that, what was her demeanor?
She laughed.
That catch you off guard?
Pretty much.
The testimony from her friend only strengthened the prosecution's case that Miriam had been behind the car bombing. But then the defense did something unexpected. They called Miriam to the stand in her own defense.
Once you got inside, what did you see?
I saw Alan on the floor.
She doing the Mr. Right method. Why is she going to the stand to defend herself? But you not Ace from Ace Attorney?
Dropped my bags and went to him. He was cold and gray. I held his hand.
That's how his regular day is. The nigga
Tried to
40
make some sense
or
of it.
60.
Miriam was on the stand for 2 days, speaking in her own defense, and it seemed like her statements were causing some doubt within the jury. The prosecution was now worried, but they made a daring move when they got a chance to cross-examine her. They shifted focus away from Alan's murder to the infamous card that Miriam had admitted to sending herself.
You were just acting at that time, weren't you?
Yes, just briefly.
You concocted a complete ruse to lead them on a wild goose chase away from you and towards some phantom killer out there, correct?
Take that! Contacted me,
Cooking niggas.
listened, then maybe I wouldn't have been at that point.
Finally, after 16 days of testimony, in December 2009,
Hit her ass with a take that, did he?
the jury sat down to deliberate.
Objection!
And in the short span of 5 hours, they'd reached a unanimous decision. Miriam was found guilty on all counts. But in an interview after the verdict, she had a lot more to say.
Prosecutors say that you fraudulently had written about $40,000 in checks on Alan's money that he was about to find out, and that's why
I've seen this old Mexican nigga before. I've seen Cub before.
You killed him.
He could look up online anytime and see what was coming out of his bank account. Nobody stopped him from doing that. So anything that was written with his approval.
Did you steal any money from Alan?
No, I didn't take anything from him because
Except his life.
everything that was put into the bank went into his bank account. None of it came to me.
But when the interviewer asked her about the car fire, she made an absolutely outlandish claim.
Did you have anything to do with starting that car fire?
No, I didn't have any inclination to do it. But I almost believe that he started his own car fire.
You mean to tell me?
What would you do, show?
We're literally.
Man, shut your ass up, nigga. Oh, these videos. Hold on, man. We might. Low key? Hey.
You tell me those somewhere I don't know. I tell you I deserve the drugs you throw. You hate me, but it's what you love the most. I hate it, but you're irreplaceable. Give me your smallest violin, I made a symphony. The only things you play when you feel like messing with me. Though I've run from drowning insecurities, thinking about you, me. I'll burn these places, they were for you. I try to save it, I'm such a fool. Physically breaking, mentally too. All of my pleasures.
Ah! I hit that note, did I? Let me do it again. I try to save it. I'm such a fool. Physically breaking, mentally too. All of my patience. Wait. Give me a minute. All of my patience. So yeah, it was the show. It was It was the What Would You Do show. Yeah, you was right, little bro. See what's in the video.
That Alan started the car fire
All of my
himself?
patience.
Why would he try to do that and possibly hurt himself?
Well, I don't think he thought about hurting himself. And it took me a while to wrap my head around that he would possibly do anything like that.
Miriam stated that Alan had started the fire himself for the insurance money, but as a...
Why would this nigga do that? Right, he already has some money. Why would he... What? What are you talking?
Man who already had a considerable amount of wealth, the police couldn't understand the logic behind this. When asked about the gun, she claimed she had no knowledge of it until after the murder and had no idea where it could possibly be.
Do you believe your mother had anything to do with Alan's murder?
I do not.
With your father?
I do not.
Who the fuck is this nigga?
In all of this, Miriam's son from her first marriage, Chris, stood by his mother's side, defending her innocence. However, in the end, none of it was enough, and Miriam Helmick was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole.
Damn.
Since then, she's made numerous appeals, but they've all been rejected.
Damn.
We
Just
hope
like
that
my
Alan's
appeals on
family-
TikTok. Just like my appeals on TikTok. Rejected.
Loved ones can find some form of peace and closure, knowing that justice has been served and his killer will never walk free again.
Damn. W Reacts. Like I said, I'm gonna go to all the YouTube channels. Big Daddy Mike, don't worry about it. Daddy Mike go like it.
What? Another deal one?
Man, nobody asked you none of that, my baby. Ooh, I want to call you a word. I want to call you a slur, but I'm not going to. 'Cause my dick is hard to go.